So we're gonna start with first step or act first, which is migration and guest experience. Um, so the first thing is we want to make sure that everything that was earlier still there it is. Uh, Memories, runs, notes, racks. As part of this project, because we introduced a new infrastructure, we want to make sure that we haven't broken anything. If we have been running into lots of runs, adding memories, we still want to migrate them. So first thing is to make sure before we actually migrate, we run the migration script. And as part of it, it'll ask you to add some environment variables if you haven't already. I'm going with Docker, but there is an option if you have like cloud setup, you can, run the script with that option as well. But for now, I'm just going with the Docker. I already have all this environment variables already configured, so I'm gonna say no. Otherwise, it'll add them again. But if you haven't added it, you probably need to select yes. Now, what it's doing is right. It's actually getting all your local JSONs, like episodic memory, your local memories, your runs, um, and like everything from your local JSON files, and then it's going to put into Qdrant. And once you do that, like it actually needs to do, um, it needs to actually extract quite a few entities, and it needs to create that knowledge graph. So that will you'll see that depending on how much data you have, it's probably going to be slower. For me, it's not a lot of data, so it's probably will finish in a couple minutes, but still it's a bit slow process because it's trying to extract the entities and everything to create a knowledge graph. um, Once that's done, uh, we'll start the application. I'll make sure it's clear, it's ready. Yeah, this is so the first part. Actually, I migrated your actual memories. Now it's migrating your rag store. So that's why you see there are like 36 records. Again, your data may be different, but that's what it's doing. It's loading your it's migrating your rag basically at this point, rag and knots. And then the next step would be actually it's going to create the knowledge graph and add data there. While we're doing that, we can actually look into local instance that's running here, and if you can refresh it, this is a local Qdrant running in my Docker. I'm just you can just access them on this link. Some Yeah, we will see now rag chunks and memories, and this count will be 1131. Yeah, almost there. And these are like I had only 5 memories. That's what it's showing is 5. Yeah. Now it's actually identifying the entities and trying to add them the knowledge graph. So the knowledge graph is also running. I mean, Neo4j is also running in locally in Docker. Um, and you can see the graph. Yeah, yeah. I see like they change the interface the last day. So I don't know, for some reason it stopped showing me the you know um, the relationships, but just so that I want to see it. I mean, earlier with this command itself, it will show me like everything. But if you want to look into those relationships, you probably need to run a different set of commands. So for example, I did see that if you do, for example, what should I select? Maybe last CNET. And I want to look at something. Yeah, I want to look at the graph. Oh, I can look at the graph. Yeah, I'll probably show in the end. I'll try to figure it out. What is the best way? Uh, Something got changed with their near. I think probably somebody updated the version and it came with a new one. So it doesn't show the relationship. Oh yeah, see, yeah, you see it here. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, there is some setting here which needs to be selected, but you will see what I was trying to see, what I was trying to say. Basically, I will see a user. Sorry, I will see is a user. Yeah, the screen color is a user. So this probably is a a user it created, and all the related entities, and all these links to Qdrant also, like the memories. So we're gonna talk about if time permits, but let's move to the demo part first. At this point, right? I want to start the source. Starting on my other screen. I'm going to bring it here as soon as it starts. Okay, I see it. I'm gonna bring it on the screen, and that's the first thing I want to show. Like all these things, you can see it's still there. Yeah, I mean, again, I took a mode, so I do see some. Uh, oh yeah, never mind. Those are the one I want. Sorry, I want to show you like memories, so you can see this existing memories. Probably at 6. I don't know why it was saying 5. So I'll again. Oh, that's one of them is derived. Okay. Yeah, one of them is derived, but yeah, these were the 5 memories before the migration. But when the Neo4j run, it derived one memory, and that's how I added one more. But you those I want to make sure that once I moved, these all remains here. I mean, your data is still there, even the migration, even though everything has been moved to the newer infrastructure. Then next thing I want to make sure is, as part of this, is um, uh, that your runs, which we already looked at, they're already there. Rags, nodes. So we'll see everything is there basically. But what extra we have added is like a graph. Like this is a new thing we had added. So it shows you all the relationships, um, and yeah, and I don't know, something again. The more something got changed, ideally it's all connected. Some of them are derived, so it's not direct relationship, but you should still be connecting to you, one way or the other. So I mean, last before the demo it was working. I probably need to look into it, but you can see the idea that it's a graph. The backend is giving you all the data and front end is generating. So it's independent. The way it's been written is like it's independent of the Neo4j. So that later on, if you want to some other one, still should work as long as the cipher queries have been used. But yeah, more on that later on. What other things we introduce is space, the login options, which we're gonna see in a bit. But before we do that, I wanna make sure that all the things are working and nothing is broken with the migrations. So we're gonna do like a uh, new memories. Let's do that. Let's go to the memories. I'm gonna add a memories, and you'll see the space. This is a new concept introduced. By default everything is global, but you can create more space, which we're gonna do uh, in a bit. And then you will have a personalized space where you can keep things organized. So I'm just adding a memory, and I'm expecting it to uh, add into Neo4j as well as Qdrant. one thing I want to make, there is a something called configuration, which is async kg. Basically, if you enable that, the things will on the front end will be faster because it does it asynchronously. But then there will be a slight delay because asynchronous, there will be slight millisecond delays in order to appear in kg. And if anything is dependent on it immediately, they may not see it. So in production, we may want to enable it, but for now, for this demo, I haven't enabled it. So that's why you will say still a bit slight delay when you add it, but that's because there is a LLMs being called and extracting entities, and then it's all being added to knowledge graph as well as quadrant. So there is a uh, I mean, the main latency is coming from LLM calls, but async kg, which extract the entities in using LLM, that can be enabled, and that'll make it a little faster on the front end side. And yeah, preference and all, also these are being derived now from knowledge graph. We have something called user facts, which actually being stored there, and those are kind of used uh, at the time of runs as well, so that and I'll show you, maybe it'll be easier at that point. So I just added in memory that I moved to this particular location last year, so that it can track my location and everything. So that's what it does now. And just to show, I should be, sorry, seeing the updated graph, like yeah, again, there are some missing edges, but this one is the recently added. But yeah, I think that missing edges is because something got broken just now when I did the merge. But again, that's just a UI issue. On the back end, it should be working as is, and probably it's worth checking it. Let's see if actually nothing is broken. Yeah, so it should be working. And we're gonna do another round of testing, so we'll know for sure. So let's go to run. Let's add a run as well. So I'm gonna do a run. All I'm gonna say is, like, I'm going for a run. Can you check to this weather? The key thing here is I haven't provided the location. And I'm expecting, which was not happening before, but now what I'm expecting is that when we do a run, it should be smart enough to figure out that the user is at this location. It should be get injected, and then shouldn't ask me for my location because it's already been there in user facts. I mean, just one example, but you can think of different example also. It's not just about the location. We have added so much with the semantic search as well as expansion of graph, that if anything related entity is found, it tries to find and match them and try to inject them. So let's do that. And I don't know if you like to see some logs. I'm just printing it just for the demo, I mean, so that I can show you. But I don't know if, again, I did a merge, and if somehow if it got disabled, then I don't know, but I'm hoping that somehow, somewhere, maybe log fast to move. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, I do see these issues. I don't know. So just this high demand kind of thing. But I was trying to show you that that the memories got injected. See, yeah, I think the logs might not be printing it, but my point here is, look at this. I never specified where I live, and it was smart enough to figure out it and generate it. Now I might be you're trying. Okay, yeah, I just asked, like, okay, cool. Because my, okay, another thing it injected is I want it to be concise. I mean, I never said it, but my profile says I like concise. So now, if without injecting it, it would have been generating a big report. Now it will be generating, concise report. And that's because that's a feature, right? That's it auto identified it. I never asked it to do it like a concise version of the report, but it did. That just because in my preference, that's it did see that I like my verbosity is concise. So I mean that's kind of a pretty much first part of demo. I mean there are a lot of things to explore, explain, a lot of things I can demo it, but that's the crux of it. There are rags, nodes. Um, those are also actually let me do sorry. Yeah, let me actually add the let me move to the Act 2. We will see spaces as well, and that's a part of Act 2. So let's do that. So now we have a spaces where can manage things, organize things independent of each other. And you will see by default, if you're not logged in, we just allows you to use one kind particular type of space, which is computer only, which means this will stay in your computer. It's not going to be synced to your multi devices and all, just because you're a guest, right? Other device wouldn't know about you. So didn't make sense to create all other spaces, and it's pretty similar to what you will see in Perplexity. Even though they don't allow you create any space, what I did differently here is I'll let you create a computer only space, because as a guest, if I'm running an application, there is no reason I shouldn't be allowed. So that's something, my twist on, or my slight twist on what Perplexity do. Sorry, my brain is having issues. My brain is finding. So anyways, I'll do this computer only. Let's do a dog. Dog. I love dogs and planning. Okay.